Hello and welcome to Jamie TV, streaming 100% live on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me. Oh, I just need to turn down this file. I do this like every time I've got an advert because I'm monetized now. Look, this is our lass's old Samsung phone. Skip it. Okay, there I am in the past. Okay, let's turn that down, put that over there. Just out of the way of my headstock on my beautiful gold vintage guitar. Hope everybody's well. A couple of things to say before. Oh, there's a few people in the chat. That's nice. Thank you for joining me. A couple of things to say before I get on with this and show you Sparkverb. First of all, I asked UVI if I could please have a code for Sparkverb quite a while ago. I didn't even think about how long ago it is, and I always feel that if I ask for a code, then I owe that company a demo. I owe them a video, and it's taken me quite a while to get to it. So I thought I would do it tonight, and then Doug at the sound test room went and did a video with it yesterday, and I try not to clash too much with Doug. I try not to create too much similar content around the same time, but I just wanted to get on with it and do it because I owe them a video. The other thing is apologies for not streaming last week. I had to miss a week a few weeks ago because I had COVID, and then what happened was last month it was our lass's birthday, and she wanted to go and see a comedian called Steve Hughes. So I bought some tickets for her birthday to go and see this comedian who I'd never really seen much of, and so I went with a completely open mind, but he was fantastic. So I really suggest, as long as you're not too easily offended, check out Steve Hughes. He's a very funny man. And it just fell that it was my streaming time last week when the tickets, I didn't realise when I bought them. I guess I'd still have bought them because it is our last, but there we are. And also, I had my videos are a bit slow at the moment. I've not been putting that much out recently because not only did I have COVID and take on a really big session job to do and get approached by a name band who want me to work with them, who I'll inform you more about that in coming weeks. And I had to learn a big long set of songs for them. But also, following having COVID, I got vertigo, which quite a few people who've... Oh, let me just put this in airplane mode. Quite a few people have had vertigo after having COVID, because when you have COVID, it's like you have like a really bad head cold with it, and you get vertigo when you get, it's like it's about something moving in your inner ear, and so I had a few days of being completely dizzy. Even when it first started, right, I woke up in bed, and which is where I normally wake up, not always, but usually, and the room was spinning. Just laid down, the room was spinning as though I was pissed, but unfortunately, I weren't pissed, and I could barely stand. So, but fortunately, I have some tablets for it now, and I'm upright again. So, thank you for being here. Who's here? Let's see. We've got Gerald. We've got Ed, Fam, and Bo, and we've got Paul's here. And we've got Josh is here, and did I miss someone there? Joe's here. Joe is a wonderful person. You know, almost every day when I got COVID, Joe sent me a message to ask me how I was doing. It's just typical of this fantastic community that we have. The iOS music nutcases. Okay, so to Sparkverb then. Well, Sparkverb is another reverb, and I seem to have been doing... My headphones are pissing me off. I seem to have been doing quite a bit on reverbs recently, but, well, you know, everybody loves a nice reverb. Oh, I need to turn the guitar up to make it make a sound. That's it. I figured that the Strat was probably a really nice instrument to demonstrate this with, and that's the default setting. So that's what it sounds like when you switch it on. So it already sounds pretty cool. I noticed in the chat that a couple of people mentioned that this reverb is a bit of an expensive one, and you know, I mean, no software is really massively expensive on the iOS platform, really, when you compare it to desktop stuff, but I do know what you mean. It is more pricey than some of the others. So the way I'm going to approach this is, right up front, I'm going to tell you my opinion of Sparkverb is it sounds gorgeous, and now I know that there's a lot of competition on iOS. We are blessed with a lot of phenomenal sounding reverbs. You know, you've got your Black Hole for a start. I mean, the Eventide ones are just, they're all wonderful. And then we've got a whole bunch of others that won't come to mind. We've got Alteza, which I did a few weeks ago. That's amazing. And Blue Mangoo's Stratosphere is wonderful. It's just an awesome, awesome sounding reverb. There's loads of them. I'm a big fan of Cleverb, actually, for when I'm doing something like just an old school song with like, you know, just kind of your typical drums, bass, guitar, maybe a bit of keys and some vocals, and put Cleverb on everything, you know. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Cleverb. I'm getting sidetracked again. So my opinion of Sparkverb is that it may be the most versatile of all the really fabulous sounding reverbs. So I'm going to endeavour to show you why I think that. And obviously, you know, you're very welcome to disagree with me or throw up your opinions in the chat or in the comments about, you know, what reverbs you particularly like. Who's a Yorkshire? I'm a Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, I am a Yorkshire pudding. Josh says he listened to it when I put it on. Oh, yeah. I did a little quick demo when I was on holiday, I think. And it was piano sound and Sparkverb and Spatializer, I think. Just a little quick demo. And it did. It sounded really nice. So let's have a look at Sparkverb then. Now, Sparkverb comes with a huge amount of presets. I'm just going to press this up here so you can see. These are all... I'll try that again, shall I? So these are all the categories of presets. And each one I press on, you'll see there's quite an extensive list of presets. And they all sound wonderful. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how the app works. We are going to have a look at some presets, I think, as long as I don't waffle too much and run out of time. But I want to. I feel like when I demonstrate an app, it's important to show you what all the knobs do, right? Not just kind of play through presets. I want to show you what the knobs do. So come out of there. And I guess we'll start top left because that seems to make the most sense. You'll keep noticing this awesome visualizer in the middle. Just kind of keep your eye on that. You know, it's a spectrum analyzer EQ kind of, just like a visual representation of what's happening with what you're doing with the app, right? So here is the size of the reverb. So if because you know, like in some reverbs you get controls to choose between different sizes of reverb. So you'll have a button to make it more of a room reverb and a button for hall reverbs, etc., etc. This simply goes from 0 to enormous, right? So that's wound all the way off. Let's just put a little bit of it on, and it should sound like a small room. Sounds like you're playing in your front room. Hi Samuel, Audible, thanks for joining us. I can't see that phone over there now. My eyes are going funny. And it's like, I need my ears testing, I need my eyes testing, I need a tooth pulling out. It's rubbish getting old. That's better. I can see that. If you see me going like this. I don't wear glasses, but I should. Okay, so, sounds like you're playing in your front room. Then, if I wind it up, we venture more into more of a kind of a live stage kind of a sound. Let's go to a big hall kind of a sound. And the more I wind it up, obviously the bigger it gets. I'm just going to turn it all the way up. This should be kind of cavernous. Alright, so, you know, that's a massive sound. I'm going to wind that back a little. Okay, so now we've... No, actually, I'm going to need it. I'm going to need a bigger sound for this. Yeah, okay. So, then we've got pre-delay. Now, pre-delay, what that's going to do is put a space between the sound of the instrument and when the reverb actually starts. I think it's called delaying the early reflections. So if I turn that all the way up, then you'll hear that space. And that's really, really useful because this app, one thing this app doesn't have is a ducker. And so you can use that to create that little space so you can hear the sound of the instrument through the reverb. Back that off a little bit, make it more subtle effect. And now I've demonstrated how that works. You can hear that it's still working even though it's subtler, right? Okay. Now the shape control is actually the shape of the room sound. It's at the moment it's all the way down, and if I turn it up, you'll hear it starts to sound more roomy, and if I turn it all the way up, then it starts to distort slightly. What's a ducker, fam? Okay, a ducker is what the ducker will do. I'm just trying to think of a good example. There's a good example of a ducker in Lunar Lander, which is also an awesome reverb I forgot to mention. I love that one. We're just spoiled for choice on iOS. And there's a really good ducker in Cleverb. And what it does is, let's say if you've got a big, thick... Sorry, I can't read and speak. It's a lost cause. Let me just read what Audible put. Occasionally comes out with something worth reading. Get like effect or more of a signal time delay. It is more like a signal time delay than a gate-like effect, but it does vary from app to app. Okay, so what happens with the ducker is that you will have some controls to set it and how extreme you want it to be. But it will basically, imagine you've got a really thick reverb sound and it's starting to swamp the sound of the original instrument. The ducker will dip the reverb down a little bit, like you can do with sidechain compression in a sense. It will dip the sound of the reverb down so you hear the sound, so you hear the notes coming through, and then the reverb effect will come back up. Okay, I'm giving myself a 6 out of 10 for that explanation. Right, so the shape is the sound of the room, and if you turn it all the way up, it actually starts to distort. Not drastically, but just enough. Let's just add some shape in there. And it makes this beautiful grinding sound as you turn it around. Right, let's turn it all the way up so you can hear what I mean. Missed the guitar. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of this chord. Now the freeze control will just do exactly what it says. It will freeze the tail of the reverb. So let me just play a chord and press freeze. I can take my hands away from the guitar and that will just carry on. And I can actually play over the top of it. But there's no reverb now on the sound of the guitar, which has been done to stop it from building up and up and up and creating a huge reverb feedback. Okay. All right, now we also have some modulation. Thank you, Ed. Thank you. I hope you were referring to me. Well, my playing, maybe. Or the sound of the app. Whichever. It's a compliment and I'll take it. Thank you very much. Audible was expecting Samuel to answer his question. Do you know what? Sam should have a channel. He's the man. He knows everything about every app. He's incredible. In fact, I love it when he's here because if there's something I don't know about an app, I just ask Sam. He should be doing this job. All right, okay, so we also have a modulation in the app, right? So it's like a chorusy kind of a sound. And to demonstrate it best, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the depth of it all the way up. So the depth is how much of it we are mixing into the sound of the reverb tail. So play a different chord, for God's sake, you hippie. Right, so now I've turned it all the way up. You can really hear that chorus wobble in there. And the rate is the speed of the chorus. So let's make it nice and quick. An extreme silly wobble. Okay, now, whilst I've got those both turned up to extreme, I'll show you the mode. So the mode at the moment is set to dark, which limits the highs. If I switch that to bright, you can notice quite a drastic difference in the clarity of the app. Just for reference, I'm going to switch that back to dark, play the same chord. Now with the Strat, I actually particularly like it set to dark because the Strat can tend, particularly higher up the fretboard, it can tend to get a little shrill, right? But it also has this lo-fi setting, which really kind of dirties it up a bit. No worries, fam, that is what I'm here for. So this is lo-fi. And you'll notice it adds a certain amount of artifacts to the if you really listen to that reverb tail. Now I particularly like modulations in reverbs to be set, well, the way I always set my chorus up when I'm playing live, because actually, although I do play an awful lot of guitar, my main instrument is bass guitar, and I've always liked on bass guitar, particularly on my fretless, I like a chorus sound, and I like to go for that thick 80s chorus, but I turn the speed of it really low, so you get this really kind of spacey sound. Let's try that now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the rate down quite slow. I'm accidentally getting a pop-up here. And then we'll bring the depth back. Right, now so that you can just compare, so you can really hear the effect of that, I'm going to take it all the way out. And now bring it back into where I just had it set, more or less. And it really kind of thickens it up and gives it that very, very spacious sound. So if you're into your 80s chorusy reverb sounds, then this is the app for you. But if you really like your ambient, spacious, luscious guitar sounds, or piano tails, that kind of thing, actually this app sounds lovely on the Swan strings. For that kind of thing, it really is pretty special. Okay, now I think what I'm going to do is skip past the bottom bit and go over to the right hand side. Then I'm going to come back to this bit. Mustn't remember this control over here, he said, hopefully. Right, so top right hand side we have a mix control. So if I wind it all the way to the left, I'm taking all of the reverb out of the mix. All the way to the right, all we've got is reverb and no original signal. No original signal. Forgotten how to speak now. Now, on YouTube streaming, there's a slight delay, so I don't know how noticeable this is, right? But as I strike the strings, you're not getting the sound of the guitar immediately. You're just hearing the reverb tail. Now, I'll take that back a little. Right, I'll leave it quite high though. Right, now, roll off. This is a filter on the output section of the reverb. A low pass filter. Just so that if you've got some of those frequencies where it's swelling, where your reverb is swelling in a frequency where you don't want it, you can use the roll off. But also, you do have some control over that down here. So, Samuel says he never got Sparkverb since he had Fab Filter Pro R and Tone Booster Reverb, which do cover a lot. Yes, I actually don't have either, although I have used the Fab Filter one when I was beta testing the Audio Pro app, because when you beta test Audio Pro, you get all the Fab Filter stuff while ever the beta is current. You get all the Fab Filter stuff, but you can only use it in Audio Pro. So you'd like to hear it on the strings, fam? Okay, well, let me crack on with demonstrating this, and then I will, if I have enough time left, I'll try and show it you on some other instruments. Okay? Yes, Sam, 6 for now, as long as I don't break one. These are new strings, actually. New set of rotor sounds. I should give rotor sounds a plug because they've endorsed me for years. So on my guitars, do my own advert, right? So on my guitars, all my electrics, acoustics, and basses, I use rotor sound strings exclusively. And I often get asked what I use on the guitar because I'm a bass player. I use 10 to 52 strings. So on a Strat, most people use 9s. Not everyone, but most people would use 9s. And they're the ones that are in the nice hot pink packet. And then the next gauge up is 10s, which I think the packet is yellow. These are blue because the bottom 3 strings are like a set of 11s. They are sound a little thicker, and they don't move quite so easily under your fingers. But for the bends, you've got the slightly lighter strings. It just makes it easier to do some of the big bends. And that's why I use 10 to 52s. Because being a bass player, I feel that I'm a little bit ham-fisted on the guitar, on the low end with the chords. So the 10 to 52s help to keep my playing under control. Okay, right, so back to Sparkverb. So, we've done the roll-off. Now we've got the width. I'm going to turn the width all the way down. I hope that you are listening on headphones or a set of speakers, because you will then be able to hear that reverb now sounds very, very central. As I turn up the width, turn it up halfway, you'll hear it moving into your cans. Turn it up all the way and you get this beautiful spread on it. That's an Alice Cooper song. No, hang on. No. I couldn't tell you which one. But anyway, I'm a big Alice Cooper fan. So that's what the width does, right? It's the stereo spread. Now, let's go into diffusion. Actually, to demonstrate diffusion, I'm going to use a preset because I noticed there's a preset that does this really, really well. It's just Metal Room in the Room section. Metal Room. Go to a different pickup here. So you can hear that metallic-y sound, and that's created largely by the diffusion. So let's just have a play with the diffusion, and I can show it to you. I don't know what I was going to say then. Right? So first of all, down at the bottom we've got a density control. Let me just change that from high to low. Right? You hear the difference there. When it's actually set to low, you can hear those metallic reflections much clearer. Back to high. There's just a lot more of them in that tail. And it has a medium setting, which is somewhere in between, right? I like the low setting. And the start is where those metallic sounding reflections will begin. Right, so when I bring that all the way down, it's immediate. And we'll turn that delay all the way up now. And let's put it back to the highest setting actually while we've got it set extreme. So and then the amount we'll bring down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that start time down really low now. Now this sounds really, really good on percussive stuff, particularly if you're using something like, say, Drum Computer, which Doug actually used Drum Computer on his Sparkverb demo yesterday. If you're using that kind of app where you're creating synthetic percussive sounds, this kind of a setting on the diffusion sounds absolutely magic. It really, really pushes those electronic sounds through the mix. Trust me, buy it and try it. I'm not on commission, unfortunately. Right, so now we need to look at the visualizer. I need to remember to press this button, and I need to show you this section here. The big knob in the middle at the bottom is the length of the delay. So if I turn that up, that's the reverb tail length. And I did know exactly how long it can last for, but I've forgotten because I'm a stupid old hippie, but it's pretty long. It's a long tail. And you'll notice in the visualizer, as I turn it up, this sort of rainbow effect grows. Right, now over here we have the amount of delay on the low end, and you'll see as I turn it up or turn it down, this kind of rainbow shape in the visualizer changes. So let's just turn that right down. So I'm taking out all the low end delays. And for me, when you're mixing, the ability to do this is the most useful control a reverb can have. And you can hear there that that really does take out all that low. Right, now let's put some low end back in. I'm going to turn it all the way up so I can demonstrate just how overpowering this can be in a mix. Now we can also change where the low delay crosses over between the lows and the mids. So if you think of this like your stereo system or like a live PA system where you've got separate speakers and you've got, let's say on a live rig, right, you've got You've got your top end speakers, your little speakers on top that do all the high end. You've got your mid speakers in the middle, and then you've got your lows and subs at the bottom. And you use a crossover so that all the sound that comes from your mixing desk, you separate it out between the speakers. And you can decide with your crossover where you are going to send the different frequencies to. So you want to send all the low end to the subs. So you have controls so that you can decide which frequencies you're sending where, right? Because you don't want to be sending any low end sound to the high end speakers, because it's just you're gonna be asking those speakers to do work that they are not designed to do. So this control kind of works like that. It will determine whereabouts that separation between low and high is. I'm going to give myself a 5 out of 10 for that explanation. So if I bring that down and more, and then higher. Now let's take those lows out to maybe back here. You see, so there's something to have a pissy pants around with anyway. Now you can also, pressing this button here, it grays out this control here. This no longer works. It changes this control into a filter, a high pass filter. Right, now the other side works exactly the same. Also, by the way, most of these controls, if you double tap them, they return to 12 o'clock. So we have another crossover here that decides the separation between the mids and the highs, and we also have a control for the amount of reverb on the top end. And then we can decide again whereabouts we want to cross over. And we have the low pass filter there. Okay, now I'm going to show you something else. So we've kind of been through all the controls, I think. So I'm going to go up to the preset section, and I'm just going to pick out a couple of presets. Now I wanted to show you how versatile this app is. So let's just look at that quickly. Let's say, for instance, I want a room reverb that's a sharp room, right, for some kind of chippy choppy stratty nonsense, right? Right, so for those subtle things, for guitar sounds, it's particularly good. It's got those really nice diffusion metallic-y sounds for electronic drums and stuff. It has presets that sound absolutely wonderful on realistic sounding drums too. There's a whole section of those here. And then let's have a look. Let's say, oh, and the vocal ones. I'm not going to sing today. I have to take my word for it on that. I'm not singing today, but the vocal ones do sound absolutely gorgeous. Now let's go back to room. I wanted to show you. Was it machine room I wanted to show you? Oh, right. Okay, so there's some bizarre ones as well. Drunken room. right? And then there's actually, you can move through the presets like this. This is large room. This is machine room. I think that's my favorite chord at the moment. Okay. Right, now we've got some insanely long tail reverbs in here. Which one was it? Was it the cave? The one that really impressed me. You've got some gorgeous ones for those long tail stuff, for ambient stuff, for soundtracky type stuff. There's a whole section dedicated to chorusy sounding ones. Now, was it? I think it was this one. I think it was. Right, okay, so I'm just using some presets to try and show you just how versatile the reverb is, because I think that is really the reason why you would consider spending more on this app than you used to do on iOS music apps. Now, Shimmers, we went through a phase a couple of years ago where iOS Shimmer Reverb, I've got an itchy foot. Good job I've got sandals on so I can get to it. It's no wonder my friends call me Jesus. So, yes, there was a time, right? There was a time when there just seemed to be a lot of Shimmer reverbs coming out, and a lot of them were really, really fabulous. And iOS music people went crackers on them, and there's some wonderful Shimmer reverb sounds in this app here. So let's just... There's a shimmer with a lot of low. Okay, right, so it does all them different things, right? Now, this is the thing that I was worried that I might forget. Now, if I press this button over here, it looks like a star system. A rainbow star system has just appeared in the visualizer. Now, these dots here, each one of them represents a preset. One of the presets, all the presets that are in this list here. Go away. Right. And so you can select a preset by just tapping on the dot, and you'll see the controls move when I tap on one of the dots. Down here we have a color coding list, and what it is, these colors down here, the list down here is the same as the list of different categories of reverbs in this drop down list up here. and there's a color, a different color for each category. And so the stars or presets are color coded according to which category they belong to. So you kind of can just see one, you can see a dot that's like of the kind of preset that you're looking for, and just go press it and check it out. But here's the super amazing cool thing about it. If you put your finger somewhere in between a bunch of stars, my finger's kind of in the way. I hope that you can see this, but what it does, it connects together a few different presets, and it gives you a blend of parameter settings from, you can see all the controls changing as I just move my finger around. It gives you a blend of parameter settings from the different reverbs that it's connecting together. So you can just kind of very randomly create a new sound. I have no idea what this one will sound like. See, I mean, that's you know, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, I know just how much, just how many iOS musicians are really, really fond of randomness, random creation of presets and sounds. It's not something that ever really particularly appealed to me very much, but since I've demonstrated some things with randomizers in, I've actually really quite enjoyed it, and I've used it. So there you go. Right, now I've got 10 minutes left. I should put the guitar down and just very quickly demonstrate the app with something else. So let's just mute the guitar. Oh, I had Spatializer here, and I was going to throw that into the mix, and also I was going to tell you, oh dear. Right, okay, very quickly, very quickly. Right, so for my guitar sound today, I used, what pickup am I on? So this is my clean sound. Right, so to get my guitar sound, I used 20th anniversary guitar amp, because I find it is spectacular for really, really clean guitar sounds. Not the kind of cleans you get from a guitar amp emulator, but when you're looking for something really crystal clear. Now I've just turned up its own reverb, and it does have a very nice reverb included with it, but I turned that off, and I just used it for the other sounds to create my nice clean guitar sound. And earlier on, before I started the stream, I threw Spatializer in and then put it in front of Sparkverb. All Spatializer does really in this situation is it's kind of adding to the reflections. It's adding more depth to that reverb. But anyway, I kind of should have demonstrated that better earlier, but I didn't. So there we are. Right, I'm putting the guitar down. Okay, so what shall we throw in here? I should probably... How long have I got? I've got 10 minutes. I'm guessing that Doug tonight will do the new Bliss app, because I did consider doing that myself tonight, because Dragonfly is absolutely amazing. But I kind of also had a thought that I might not actually do so much a demo with it, but I might just record a song with it and use it on a song to demonstrate it in that way. Yeah, I thought it would do, Joe. I thought it would. So I thought, well, you know what? There's no point me doing it and then Doug doing it, because he'll do it better and he'll make me look stupid. So I'll opt out of that one, and I'll do it. Like, I think I'm going to make a video for it. But anyway, ramble. Okay, so let's just open up. You know what? I could save time by doing it here, couldn't I? Let's just throw a piano on here. we'll use, I suppose it's only right to use Ravenscroft. Ravenscroft has its own spectacular sounding reverb. I better just connect my Irie keys to Ravenscroft here. I'm brilliant on piano, you know. I really am. I'm superb. Dragonfly is the ultimate fart machine. Yes, Sam, it is. It's superb. I did check out that Billie Eilish song that it's used on, that Bliss mentioned in the publicity that they've done to go with the app, and because my daughter's actually a really big fan, and I can't deny that the girl's got some talent. Not something I'm massively into myself, but she has got some talent. And as soon as I listened to it, I knew exactly what the app was intended to do and how it should work. But I was slightly disturbed by the video. If you've not seen it, I can't remember what the song's called now. Somebody put in the chat what the song's called. Yeah, the video's worrying, frankly, worrying. Okay, take Sparkverb out, go to Ravenscroft, and let's just switch off the reverb. So now we just have, we have a naked piano, and we'll just leave it on the classic preset. Who thinks that Ravenscroft is the best piano on iOS? I don't have that pure piano one, which I wanted to check out for ages, but I don't have that one. But other than that one, which I haven't tried, I'm most happy with Ravenscroft, especially when considering how it sounds in a production, in a mix. Right, okay, so put your favourite pianos in the chat. I must keep playing a chord because my stomach's rumbling because I'm starving. I covered it up. Right, Sparkverb. Alright, and let's go and get a preset for that. Let's go to the hall section and go with concert hall. That actually played itself. That's about my piano skills done. I'm just going to do that chord again. Right, now let's just turn up the mix on that. And I'll bring this shape up. I'm going to bring it all the way up. I really like this. Right, I'm going to leave the modulation off, and I want a little less low on this. I'm going to take that off. Hang on. Let's make that top end. Let's make that top end shimmer a little if we can. More diffusion in there. Take that down a little. Oh, I want the width all the way up. There, that's more like it. Oh, and I forgot to tell you something. I can't believe this. Right. God. Right. So, the visualizer, you can actually make adjustments to it. So these controls down here at the bottom, right, you can actually, if I just do this, look, you see this control changing? Right, so you can actually change it like that. So it does actually kind of embrace what's great about iOS and its strong points, unlike a lot of things that are also available on desktop. So if you're wanting like a top end shimmer, you can just kind of drag up there like that. Yeah, that top end. Let's take that decay all the way up. Right, I'm going to bring that size up. A little bit of pre-delay on it. A little more in the mix. There, and that's how you create a shimmery type of sound. Okay, so I better sign off because Doug will be on next. Let's just see what you've said about pianos before I go. Okay, Joe likes Ravenscroft. Audible likes Ravenscroft. Fam thinks Pure Piano is awesome. I'm going to have to check that out. I am going to have to check it out. It's just I'm not a super piano player. I'm actually a little bit better than I demonstrated there, but you know, when you're more adept at an instrument, you can sit and demonstrate and just play. Like with the guitar, I'm okay, I'm all right at guitar, so I can sit and just demonstrate and just play chords and stuff. I'm not as adept at piano, so when it comes to just making something up to demonstrate something, it's kind of harder, you know, and it's off-putting. Ravenscroft is definitely one of the best, says Ed. You touched on that subject, Jamie. Which subject? Filter the high-end ringing. Okay. Ed says, fantastic reverb app. Hope they have a sale at some point. Definitely would love to add this reverb to my collection. I think it's very, very well worth it. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Oh, GB Crow's here. I didn't see you. I'm sorry I didn't see you in the chat. And if I've missed anyone else, my apologies. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing Doug's demo of Dragonfly. I can take this out of the stand now. So I hope that you're all going to join me in Doug's stream. I will be there in just a few minutes when I've had a fag, actually. So I hope that I've adequately demonstrated Sparkverb to you. If you have any questions about it, comment below the video, and I will definitely, I always reply to questions and comments. All right, Benjamin, we're just about to sign off. You're a bit late, dude, but it's always fantastic to see you. So yes, join me in Doug's stream. Thank you very, very much for being here. I really, really appreciate the support after me being a bit absent and a bit slack for a little while. Take care, everyone. Be good and make lots of music. Be kind and don't piss your pants about. See you later.